Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Asha Degree, a 9-year-old from Shelby, North Carolina. She disappeared on Valentine's Day of 2000, which was February 14th. She left before dawn with a backpack, and there was really no reason for her to leave. But yeah, she left voluntarily, we know that much. She was seen by a couple of truckers, and when one of the truckers tried to pull over to talk to her, she disappeared into a nearby woods. And that's the last they actually saw her, at least as far as we're aware. Maybe other people have seen her since then, but from what I could tell, this is the last official sighting. There were some items found a couple of days later in a chicken coop, a bow and a hair tie or something along those lines, small items that were hers. And a few years later, they found a backpack wrapped up in 2 plastic bags, and it contained a few well-preserved items, among which a new t-shirt from New Kids on the Block, I believe, and a book from her school's library from Dr. Suess. Now, there's really no reason why she would have wanted to leave, because her home situation was perfectly fine, and she was, by all accounts, a bright girl who really enjoyed math and science and wanted to become an illustrator someday. One of the things that they thought of would be a reason for her to leave was the fact that they had just lost a basketball game, her team, a couple of days previous, and she may have felt responsible for that because she was the type of girl to feel responsible for that type of thing. Whether that's enough reason to run away, I don't know. Logical adults would say no, but maybe in her mind it was something really big and she decided that she had to go. Who knows? Another potential reason could be that they read a book in school recently called The Whipping Boy, in which a boy takes the whipping for a prince and then they both run off in the night to have an adventure. She may have wanted to emulate that. Nobody knows. Anyway, so we're going to do a reading on that today. Using the Urban Tarot for starters, which is this one. This is more of a modern, updated version of the tarot. And for any further questions, I want to use the Tarot Mucha, which is this one. Has much more decorative items, I should say, as cards. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck, and if I have enough cards on screen to talk about, I'll stop and then we'll take a look at what we've got, and I'm just going to tell you what the cards tell me, and hopefully we'll get some information on this case. So without much further ado, let's go. Okay, so we've got an extra card down here. Didn't quite fit on the screen, but we'll just leave it down there until we get to it. Either way, we see, first of all, the Emperor, the Moon in reverse, and the High Priestess upright. Now, the Emperor, I think, is somebody who is influential in her life. So it could be, I'm tempted to say, a teacher or somebody from the church, maybe somebody whom she looks up to. And I don't feel like they actually went to this person, but more like this person said or did something that made her go, wow, I need to investigate this further, because we see here the Moon in reverse and High Priestess, which to me seems like trying to explore certain things, uncover mysteries with the Moon in reverse, and also the High Priestess maybe imagining what could lie beyond the mystery that she thought she was going to be uncovering. So she heard something from somebody. It could have been even somebody on TV or somewhere, a book or any type of influence that could impress a 9-year-old girl into thinking that she was going to uncover some great mystery. She decided to do that. At least that seemed to be the intention here. Next we have the Lovers, we have the Five of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. So the Lovers doesn't necessarily have to be anything romantic. It could be somebody who is perhaps going to help her in that. It could be a friend or somebody that she considers to be an equal perhaps, but it looks like they had some type of falling out with this person. I don't know. It looks as though she may have gone to meet up with somebody, potentially. Doesn't necessarily say that directly, but there's a reference here to a person, like a partner in crime type person, and a conflict between the two, a struggle. And then we have the Knight of Wands energy following that, which is very impulsive energy. So it's almost like they had a confrontation with somebody whom she considered to be an accomplice of some sort, maybe a friend, or maybe a friend gave her an idea of something and they disagreed, and now they decided to take action on this, and being very stubborn about it. Let me just put these back for a second, and then we go to the second row, because I see here fortitude, which is the Nine of Wands. So this is somebody, you can see the person over there powering through their workday. This looks like it's a mailman and it's snowing and stuff like that. This does look like somebody who is clenching their jaws to push through whatever it is that they feel is their task to complete. And Nine of Wands is usually a tired warrior card, and I think that this is more like she started off with this Knight of Wands energy, like all fire and enthusiasm and inspiration, and then after a while she found that it was actually harder than she thought it would be. Now, I don't see a second person here yet, but at the same time I do see with her struggling here, we do see here the Six of Cups, which is kind of like a remembrance card. In this deck they call it pleasure, and I think that even though it was tough for her, at least initially, she does appear to have at least enjoyed the adventure. I really think that this is pointing towards her enjoying her adventure, going out there and uncovering these mysteries perhaps. Doesn't look like there's two of them yet, but we are moving on, because over here we've got this card that's kind of covered up with the other one down here, which is the Sun, by the way. We'll get to that, but first I want to take a look at these two, because we have here the card Death and the Nine of Swords in reverse, and I'm gonna grab these two real quick, because that enthusiasm that we still had here with the Six of Cups seems to have disappeared rather quickly, because death is usually not necessarily a direct reference to a state of being, but most often just to show that something is ending, a chapter is closing. And this is a very creepy card, by the way. I hadn't actually looked at this one in great detail yet, but it looks like the clock face is no longer carrying hands, and there's spiders everywhere. The doctor himself doesn't have a face, and he appears to be levitating somebody's heart out of their chest. This almost seems like things changed very drastically. Like normally death is more like, okay, this chapter is closed, like I said, and now we move on to the new thing. But it looks as though she really encountered a bad fate at this point, and perhaps at the hands of somebody who is themselves rather cruel. As you can see there at the bottom of the swords, there is a wrecked doll with a bunch of stuff surrounding it. Accessories that would normally come with the doll have been torn, broken, stuff like that. So this is, I believe, the point where she encountered a cruel fate. And the card that was down here, the Sun, was in the middle, but I feel like this is more of a reference to perhaps somebody noticing her. And you can see that there's a statue in the background with the sun, in this case a little boy running around looking super happy and cheerful with the sun behind it, but the statue is in the dark. So I feel like this is the point right about here as well, where she got noticed by somebody who had bad intentions. So we need to put that one in between here. And they had their own intentions right here, their own initiatives right here, because we see here the Ace of Swords. But followed by the Knight of Cups. So that is a very unusual combination. This might be somebody else's energy coming through, because the Ace of Swords is somebody's initiative, an idea that they have, perhaps as a result of this lineup right here. So I feel like this might even be the next person who took her from wherever she was hiding and decided to do whatever it is that they wanted with her, leading to, at least from their perspective, a Nine of Cups energy, like they finally had what it is that they wanted. Now, we don't want to think too much about that, but it does appear that they may have been kidnapped for nefarious purposes. Let's go to the Terra deck, like what happened after that point, because this is the point where she leaves on adventure and then gets picked up by a very wrong individual. What else can we see from beyond that point? Okay, we have immediately the Six of Swords in reverse, which I always take as a being taken against your will card, so that makes sense in this regard. What else can we get? Ace of Swords is back, but in this case it's in reverse. This looks like the plan going wrong, or at least in a negative sense, as in usually the reversed swords I tend to read that also as a bit of manipulation, and maybe a lot of manipulation, since this is the ace, of course, which is like the prime card within a suit. So whatever it is that they had in mind over here with the Ace of Swords, that came to fruition, and it was a very negative experience, not unexpectedly, but it's just here to confirm that. And then we have here the King of Swords, I believe, in reverse. So this will be somebody who is very manipulative and also very good with their words. She may have been trapped into, or at least tempted into coming with somebody because they're really good at words. Maybe they knew just what to say in order to keep her interested and take her with them and do whatever it is that they wanted without attracting too much attention, because people really didn't say much about whether they had seen her or not. Then we have here the Ten of Pentacles, which is an inheritance card, so maybe their plan was initially perhaps to sort of kind of unofficially adopt her or something, because the Ten of Pentacles is very much like an inheritance and you're passing things on to the next generation, which you can see in the background there. The old man is supposed to be the person who owns all this wealth, and then it gets passed down to the younger ones. So maybe their plan was initially to keep her and maybe sort of adopt, like I said, or try to impart some type of wisdom or something on them that they had collected. What's next? These two are next. Okay, so next we have Ten of Cups. Yep, see, they're trying to make it seem like it was a good thing that she was there, like it was a positive thing. He is the King of Swords after all, so they probably, for a while at least, made it seem like it was a good thing for her to be there. So that's them trying to make it seem like it's fun to be around them. And then we see here the Five of Pentacles in reverse, which could also seem like a card. Normally I would say this would be like an internal corruption thing, like destitution of the soul rather than being broke and that type of thing. But I could almost see with this lineup over here that it was like, oh, I'm saving them from being destitute, like they're out there all alone and I'm saving them, I'm going to give them a great life, that type of thing. That's what I'm seeing in this lineup so far. Let's see what happened after that. We have the Four of Swords in reverse, so that is no rest. I think that's also a bit of a haunting type of thing, like, okay, they may have at some point made the decision to bring her into the house, but then they may have seen on the news that there were articles about her being missing and people looking for her, that type of thing. Perhaps he was not expecting that, or they were not expecting that. I keep saying he, but we don't know. But that's just because I see here the King of Swords, and that makes me kind of feel like it might be a masculine energy, or at least somebody who has a good amount of masculine energy. Could be a female with a lot of masculine energy. What next? Next we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this does appear to be a new idea that came in. So initially they had ideas about, well, certain thoughts in their mind were coming to the forefront, and now it's like we have an idea for a new venture. We are hatching ideas for new things that we can invest in, that type of thing. So this is them taking a break and laying low and then thinking, okay, this could be an option. Star is in reverse, so we're definitely trying to hide the energy here. I got a whole bunch of cards that fell out, so I'm going to try to shuffle those, see what else we can get. Okay, these two. This one came out second. First one was this one. this appears to be the King of Cups, but in reverse again. So now instead of being manipulative with words, we're being manipulative with emotions. So they are trying to keep her quiet, and they're trying to manipulate her emotions, perhaps also by threatening that she may never see her family again, that type of thing. This is very much an energy of also putting their own needs before others, because the cups are usually about emotions, but also a little bit more like caring, that type of thing, caring individuals normally. But in reverse we see the opposite happening. So this looks like panic is starting to set in over here. They need to do something, and their first thought is keep her quiet with the star reversed, and also tell her all sorts of things to keep her to comply. And then we get another death card, but this one is reversed. So this is unwilling to let something go. So whatever situation they are trying to maintain here, they were not looking to end it anytime soon. So whatever it is that they were planning to do with her, they didn't want to end that just because she was being looked for, it looks like. Lots of things are happening here. Okay, yeah, so see here, Nine of Cups is now in reverse. So whatever idea they had over here with the Ten of Cups, we now have the reverse, the exact opposite. So whatever emotions that they may have had, they may have felt good initially about this situation. Like they really thought that they could do something here. They thought that they could keep her happy, keep her with them, and that type of thing, like happily ever after. And the nines are often like independence for the individual. But this is more like they're starting to feel like they're very much being put upon with this situation of their own doing, but still they seem to feel like they were negatively impacted by keeping her there. We also have here the Three of Wands, so it's in reverse. They see no way out, because Three of Wands normally like making plans. It could also mean that they were really planning on hunkering down, as in nobody's going to find us because I'm going to hide us here and we're going to be perfectly safe and sound, or at least nobody's going to know where we are, and we're not moving either. We're just laying low, and we'll see what happens, but we're going to try to stay out of other people's way. One more for the Teramucha is the Empress. So they're laying low, but they're also trying to take care of her some way. So even though they're not very happy with the situation that they find themselves in, they are also still trying to keep her calm, and maybe trying to give her some food, trying to keep her some, give her some clothes, some toys, whatever it is that you wanted to stay happy. So what next? Because we are looking at an abduction, and by somebody who may have wanted to keep her for an extended period of time. What happened after that? Oop, 3 cards. After that we have the Page of Swords, what I like to think. So that is more manipulation, but this is more impulsive, because the pages, they call the prince in this deck, but it's the page. The page is usually very adolescent, very head over heels type of energy. So this is more like trying to say anything that they can think of to try and keep her calm, and also to keep other people at bay, because I feel like this might also be like they may have been in a car at some point, that this type of situation. Not saying that that's what happened, but they may have been in a traveling situation and somebody saw them together and is like starting to ask questions. And then this is a type of card that would to me represent that they tried anything to avoid suspicion, just say whatever, come up with all sorts of crazy ideas to try and keep people off their back. And then we have here the Ace of Pentacles. So again, with the Ace of Pentacles down here, we get it twice. So they're constantly trying to reinvent themselves and come up with new ways, new ideas to try and keep the situation going. And we also have here the Princess of Wands. Oh, the princesses are pages, sorry. So this would be the Knight of Swords. It's always a little bit annoying when they use princes and princesses, but okay, so this will be the Knight of Swords. Same idea basically, because the Knight, if you know the Knight from the regular Rider-Waite, you see that he's like flying off on a horse practically, doing whatever he can. So it's still the same message, but a slightly different name for the card. But here we have the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is, we did have that one earlier, didn't we? We had the Knight of Wands over here. Right, and the knights in this deck are the kings. that's another deal. Anyway, so we have here the princess, the actual page of wands, and once again we are looking at impulsive action. So it seems to be like a cycle of trying to come up with new ways to do things, lying, and try to keep her calm and that type of thing. But how did it end? Is there like an ending to this? Because so far it's just a cycle of trying to avoid suspicion and not get caught, but keep her quiet. And then the last card we have here is the Eight of Cups, which is a walking away card. So it looks as though they were abandoned at some point. Like, I feel this Princess of Wands perhaps is except the one last card that we got. So maybe after this whole cycle, like I said, of lying, keeping her calm, that sort of thing, finding it difficult to keep going with the Knight of Cups, we see the last card here is the Eight of Cups, which is a walking away. They may have been dumped somewhere, and so whatever it is that they did, the Page of Wands in this case may point towards violence to end the problem for them, and that ended up turning into him walking away from the whole ordeal. So what I'm seeing here is somebody saw her after she went on a great adventure, which is way down here, thought that they could live together with her, even thought for a moment that they could offer her things that she wasn't currently in possession of, in other words, a house and all that sort of thing, perhaps thinking that she was just homeless and nobody was looking for her, then probably found out that they were looking for her, and that's where the cycle of, oh no, where do I go, what do I do, started. Trying to keep her calm, but also try to avoid suspicion, and ultimately finding out too much work, and then we end up here with the walking away card, where they abandoned her, and possibly in such a way that she could not be found again. So that is what I'm seeing for this case. Hope you found that interesting. In any case, make sure to leave a comment, leave a like, that really helps the channel along. I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video, and bye bye for now.